Back in August of last year, my father was diagnosed with stage 2 Hodgkin's lymphoma. When people talk to me about what I'm dealing with and what's going on, I tell people my dad died. Not that my dad went to heaven, not that he went to be with the Lord. Grief will make you deal with the facts, and the pain is in that fact. I said, today I feel the pain that people feel when they walk away from the faith. When you gloss over the facts, trying to get them to a truth, you essentially ignore their pain. We got to do better pain management as people of God. We really do. Hey y'all, hey, it's your girl Quay. Welcome back to the Heaven and Mind channel, where we imagine, inquire, and investigate topics around heaven and Jesus. Listen, I have been gone for a long minute because life has been lifing, and it's part of the reason why I'm also here talking about grief today. Back in August of last year, my father was diagnosed with stage 2 Hodgkin's lymphoma, and he had been in and out of the hospital trying to figure out what was going on. He got the diagnosis at the end of August. We walked the chemotherapy journey with him from August till November. He went into the hospital the Tuesday before Thanksgiving to have a procedure, and he basically never came out. And so now I am in 2024 trying to navigate this thing called grief. And I can say that I'm really not a fan, but I can also say that it has taught me a lot of things, because I have been thoroughly surprised by what grief has caused me to do, say, think, and believe. So for somebody like myself who has a whole podcast about heaven, you would think that my language would reflect that. And yet when people talk to me about what I'm dealing with and what's going on, I tell people my dad died. Not that my dad went to heaven, not that he went to be with the Lord, not that my dad, was in a better place or whatever. My dad died. Grief will make you deal with the facts. And grief also challenges the truth. When people are grieving, the pain that they feel is in the facts. It's not in the truth. My pain is in the fact that my dad was living a month and a half ago, and over 6 months ago, we thought he was fine, and now he's gone. Those are the facts. That's where the pain is. The pain is not that he's in a better place. The pain is that he's dead. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I had started the conversation by saying, I know my dad is in a better place, and I was just going on. I was just talking about some of the stuff that I was feeling. And in the midst of that, I started crying. And I was like, I don't know where my dad is. I had just said, I know that my father is in a better place. That is the truth that I believed. But the fact was that my dad had been cremated, and I don't know where his remains are. I think I know where his remains are, but I don't know where my dad is. Having that realization on the phone was mind blowing. But again, I've been on this journey of trying to figure out what is this disconnect. And it is the pain of grief is in the facts, and grief challenges truth. The most encouraging thing that I've had is people who just allow me to deal with the facts. And the fact for me is my dad died. A man that once had a birth certificate now has a death certificate. Somebody who I talked to and went to the movies. We watched Marvel movies together. We planned our birthdays together every year because they're 2 weeks apart. The person that I did these things with is no longer here. Those are the facts. It doesn't matter that he's in a better place. It doesn't matter that he's with Jesus. It doesn't matter. And I know some of y'all flipping out right now for me to even be able to say that. But you have to be able to state what the facts are when you're dealing with grief. I have to deal with that. As I move through the process, yes, I'll be able to say my dad's in heaven. My dad passed away. I know that he's in a better place and all of that. But a month and a half in, I'm processing the fact that my dad died. You have to be able to let people process that. Ask them how they feel. Hold them. Walk with them. Be with them in the facts, and stop trying to get people to get a truth that may be challenged. How could God take my loved one? Grief is challenging a truth that God did it. He's sovereign. He did it. But the pain is in the fact that my loved one is gone. You got to be able to recognize that. And that's where I feel like we as believers have to do a better job when it comes to helping people navigate grief. We have to do a better job when it comes to walking with people. Any kind of grief. You was in a relationship and y'all broke up, girl. You know he wasn't no good. You know God got somebody else for you. That may be truth. But the fact is, somebody that I was with and in relationship with, and I thought this was going somewhere, is now no longer a part of my life. That is the fact. And the pain is in that fact. We got to do better pain management as people of God. We really do. We have to do better pain management. And I did not know that until I experienced it. So I was having dinner with a really good friend of mine, and some stuff had come out that day, and I was flabbergasted. And we went to dinner, and I told her, and I said, you know what? I said, today I feel the pain that people feel when they walk away from the faith. I had never understood that. I had never experienced that before, but I told her, today I have felt the pain that makes people say, how could a good God allow these bad things? I felt the pain associated with that in a way that I had never felt it. Because I definitely used to be one of those people that would appeal to true people telling me stuff they struggling. And I'm just like, you should know better, right? That's the other thing. For people who grew up in church and you faithful in church, you should know better when it comes to wrestling with spirituality. And I said, but there's a pain associated with this that I did not get or understand until today. And when I felt that, that's the reason why I'm making this video, because your church cliches ain't gonna cover that. On that day, talking to my friend, it was nothing that she was gonna be able to tell me that could touch that level of pain. And she tried, and I said, you got something else? She said, no, I don't have nothing else. There is a level of pain that all your good Bible, VBS, Sunday school, just not gonna touch it. You have to be able to process that pain to be able to get to a place where you can embrace truth. And I told her that day it wasn't it. That day, it was not it. I got a different understanding about some things on that day. That was last week. So we got to do a better job about pain management. When a person is grieving the fact that bad things are happening in the world, in their life, they are grieving the facts. And you have to be able to walk a person from fact to truth, but you've got to be able to allow them to do that in their time. And so when you gloss over the facts, trying to get them to a truth, you essentially ignore their pain. A lot of things that you believe to be true will be challenged when you go through a season of grief. And a lot of the pain that you will feel will be tied to the facts and not to that truth. So if you're dealing with that, just like I'm dealing with that, know that you're not by yourself. If you've been trying to figure it out, I hope this gives you some answers. The pain you feel is in the facts of your situation. And grief challenges truth. The truth about God, the truth about your faith, the truth about your spirituality, the truth about a whole lot of stuff is going to be challenged when you find yourself in seasons of grief. And if you don't deal with the pain associated with the facts of your situation, you're not going to be able to properly move through that grief. The Bible says in this life we will have trials and tribulations. Those are the facts. But be of good cheer because I've already overcome the world. What Jesus said, that's the truth. It's the trials and the tribulations that we're dealing with right now. It's the pain of everyday living. It's the struggle that we're dealing with right now. Those are the facts of that verse. And eventually we'll get to a place where we'll embrace the truth of being of good cheer because he's already overcome. But y'all, if you're walking with somebody, if you're trying to encourage somebody who is grieving, you got to let them deal with the pain of the facts. There will be trials and tribulations. You got to start right there. And eventually we'll get to the good cheer. So I just wanted to share that. Hope that helps somebody, bless somebody. Hope if you're going through grief, that this can give you some clarity about some of the disconnect that you may be experiencing in your own grief journey. Again, everybody's grief journey is different. Somebody may be on the total opposite end of me, and that's okay. God bless you. Praying for all of us that are out here grieving in whatever stage of grief you are. If you're going through the 1 year, the 2 year, the 5 year, it's a lifelong process. But I just wanted to stop by and just state that and hope that helps or blesses somebody. To the next video, y'all be easy.